The idea of the Watergate break-in surfaced in a meeting in the office of John Mitchell, the Attorney General of the United States. Attorney General Mitchell discussed with the members of the President's Re-Election Committee an elaborate and expensive undertaking that involved kidnapping, prostitution, and electronic spying in order to gather information on the Democrats during the presidential election of 1972.
The plan is too complicated and too expensive. We should do something else.
So what should we do? Break into the DNC and wire their phones?
Not a bad idea. We should do that. Okay, so the plan is to use $89,000 from campaign funds to finance a break-in at the Democrats' headquarters in Watergate. So who wants to do it?
Hen and I will get Parker, Martinez, Gonzalez, Sturgis, and Cord to do the job. So even if they get caught, it just look like a regular burglary.
James McCord, a member of the committee to re-elect the president, had already broken into the Democratic National Committee and bugged the phones. But later on, they noticed that there were problems with some of the bugs and many of them were getting unnecessary information. So Liddy decided to break into the Watergate again to install the new bugs.
There's a problem with the bugs.
What's wrong?
The bugs installed by McCord aren't working and the other bugs are just getting secretary bugs up.
What do you suggest we do?
We just have to install another bug in O'Brien's office.
Okay, I'll get the others to do the job.
On June 17, 1972, Bernardo Barker, Eugenio R. Martinez, Virgil R. Gonzalez, James McCord, and Frank Sturgis were brought back by Hunt to put another bug in the O'Brien's office. These men were part of the burglary team and also part of CREEP. McCord volunteered to put adhesive tape on the door of the basement, but he had put the tape horizontally across the locks, making it visible. Frank Wills, a security guard of the building, spotted the tape. Wills assumed that the cleaning crew had taped over the door latch to prevent it from locking. He removed the tape and went on with his duties. McCord, noticing that the tape was missing, just retaped the door instead of calling off the intrusion. The burglary team waited until 1 a.m. to break into the office.
What's this tape on the door? The cleaning crew must have left it behind.
Remove the tape again. I'll just tape it again.
I'm gonna pick the locks to this office. You guys stay on the lookout for people.
Okay.
Let's take the hinges off this door.
15 minutes later, Will spotted the tape that had been replaced on the basement door. He decided to call the police. 3 off-duty policemen heard about the call from the Watergate Hotel and decided to go. When they arrived at the hotel, they looked more like hippies than officers. Alfred Baldwin was on the lookout for the police. He was in the hotel across the street from Watergate Hotel. Baldwin spotted an unmarked car, but he did not know it was the police.
Oh, what's the tape doing here again?
Okay, so FBI over here and ATF.
I know for sure it must have not been the cleaning crew. I better call police.
There are police at the Watergate Hotel. I saw them on the 8th floor with guns and flashlights drawn. Over.
Roger, I'll tell the guys to get out now. Barker, get out there now. The police are there. Over. Barker, read me now. Over. Idiot, why did he turn it off? Freeze, you're under arrest. And put the equipment in the suitcases.
Okay, I'll go as fast as I can.
Let's get out here now.
I was spying on you, man.
You guys, I think we have like 30 minutes.
Liddy and Hunt were in room 214 at the Watergate Hotel. But by leaving so quickly, Hunt and Liddy did not notice that they had left their address books behind, as well as 32 new $100 bills. The next day, the police confiscated the surveillance equipment and discovered that one of the address books had Hunt's name and the telephone number to the White House. The police also found a check from Hunt to a country club. Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein were assigned by the Washington Post to investigate the water scandal.
Why would 5 Cubans break into the Democrats' headquarters?
Wait a minute. It could be the Republicans did. It's almost re-election time.
That's true.
Let's search a Republican office.
Carl, look. James McCord was a former CIA and currently a security coordinator for CRP.
As the Washington Post journalists were getting closer to the truth, they received a mysterious call.
Carl, we were right.
Are you sure, Bob?
Hello? Woodward from the Washington Post speaking.
Meet me at the Roseland Bridge at 2 a.m. I will give you what you want.
What was that all about?
Some mysterious person just told me to meet him at the Roseland Bridge at 2 a.m.
Well, are you gonna go?
What do we have to lose? Really? Are you positive?
Thanks for the information.
The 5 Watergate burglars were tried in court. 2 more men were named as suspects of the crime. Their names were G. Gordon Liddy and E. Howard Hunt. Liddy and Hunt were accused of directing the burglary. Hunt, Barker, Gonzalez, Martinez, and Sturgis were convicted of being guilty to conspiracy and burglary. Liddy and McCord claimed to be innocent, but they were eventually found guilty. On February 7th, the U.S. Senate voted to set up a special committee. The committee received a valuable piece of evidence on March 20th, when James McCord gave a private letter to the Supreme Court Judge, John J. Circa.
This is a letter that I have written for you. With this, you will understand everything.
What could be so important about in this letter? I knew it. There is more to this story than simply a burglary.
Judge Sirica announced the contents of the letter to the public. In the letter, many statements were damaging to the Nixon administration. McCord's letter indicated that the defendants had been paid to keep silent, perjury had been committed, and numerous participants had not been yet identified. McCord expressed concern about being a scapegoat for the concealment of the involvement of top government officials. The special Senate committee called James McCord to testify if any other laws were being broken during the Nixon campaign of 1972.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. McCord, you claim that powerful men in the White House have pressured you not to tell the truth. Who are these men?
There were John Dean, John Ehrlichman, Bob Hardeman, Alexander Butterfield, and others who worked for President Nixon.
Prepare to call these men in for questioning.
On June 25, 1973, John Dean told the committee that President Nixon was involved in a cover-up. The investigation led into the Watergate scandal.
So what you're trying to say is that President Nixon was trying to stop investigators from getting honest answers?
Yes, and Nixon also had an enemies list. Charles Colson and I were in charge of that list. There were names of people who were unfriendly to Nixon on the list, and the FBI and RAS were pressured to make life difficult for them.
Yet another confession was given by Alexander Butterfield less than a month later on July 13th.
President Nixon had been taping these private conversations that had taken place in his office since the 1970s. He was planning to use these tapes to write his memoirs. If the Senate committee listens to these tapes, then you could perhaps find out the truth.
The problem is the tapes belong to Nixon. My job is to obtain information about the case. Therefore, I will issue a subpoena for the tapes.